This is Valley News Live at noon.
We start with a story that's new for you at noon. With over 85% of North Dakota's long-term care residents now fully vaccinated for COVID-19, Governor Doug Burgum announced today that the state will shift from state-driven guidance to locally driven decisions in basic care and assisted living facilities. More than 90% of long-term care residents have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and while over 85% of residents and 49% of staff have received both doses. This process means 2 executive orders will expire on Friday, including one that requires assisted living facilities to conduct routine COVID-19 testing of residents and staff. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is stepping in line today to get his COVID-19 vaccination. He got his first dose this morning at the Bismarck Event Center at the Bismarck-Burley Public Health's drive-through vaccine clinic. Burgum became eligible now that vaccinations are being provided for individuals in Priority Group Phase 1C. Clay County Public Health just announced that they have walk-in appointments available for the COVID-19 vaccine until 1 p.m. today. They're accepting people over the age of 65, caregivers of those with complex medical needs, child care providers, and K-12 teachers. If you are eligible, head to the Young Kumst Center in Moorhead by 1 p.m. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is expanding vaccine eligibility as the state reaches its goal of vaccinating 70% of Minnesotans 65 and older this week. The announcement comes several weeks ahead of schedule after the state moved quickly to use more vaccine from the federal government. Starting tomorrow, more than 1.8 million more Minnesotans will be eligible. Phase 1B Tier 2 includes people with specific underlying health conditions, food processing plant workers, and Minnesotans with rare conditions or disabilities that put them at a higher risk of severe illness. And Tier 3 includes those 45 and older with at least one underlying medical condition. 16 plus with 2 or more medical conditions, Minnesotans 50 years and older who live in multi-generational housing, and several categories of frontline workers such as airport staff, child care and food service, public transit, and postal workers. For the full list of eligibility, head to our website, valleynewslive.com. Well, today feels like a day you can bring out the short sleeves and shorts, but Wednesday is saying something completely different. Well, let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Yeah, we've got some big ups and downs here today. Today we're talking about the ups. We are going to be soaring here. We're already seeing those temperatures really starting to rise. In fact, we've got a 63-degree temperature in Sisseton, and many places in the valley checking in at the noon hour in the 50s. Fargo's at 58, Grand Forks is at 56. By the way, at 58 degrees right now in Fargo, we've tied our record high for the day, and our temperature is going to continue to go up from there. A little cooler over in Devil's Lake and Langdon, still way above average, but a little cooler there where we've had more cloud cover, and winds are starting to shift in that direction as well. A look at our winds. They've been strong ahead of this system. We can see those winds out of the south in those areas and gust up to 30 miles per hour right now. With clear skies or mostly sunny skies in the south and east, you can see those clouds up by Devil's Lake, maybe even a few sprinkles there. Most of the precipitation with this system, though, passing by to the north of us today. So this is System 1, and it's really what is driving that big warm up. We're looking at highs into the 60s for Fargo and other places in the south. We'll talk more about that. And then, of course, the downward trend will be on for tomorrow. We're talking colder air and snow coming back. You'll want to stick around for details on that.
We'll definitely stick with you in the next few minutes to find out what's happening for the rest of today and even tomorrow, since it's such a big change. Thanks again, Lisa. Well, we continue to follow a developing story out of Minneapolis. Jury selection has started again in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin after procedural delays yesterday. Chauvin is the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd. Floyd's death set off a wave of protests around the country, and as Jay Gray shows us, extra security is in place at the Minneapolis courthouse.
We are just outside the Hennepin County Courthouse. I want to give you an update of what's going on right now. After a delay yesterday, jury selection is moving forward right now. The judge dealing with some motions early in the courtroom and then calling in potential jurors, and they have started the selection process. Of course, yesterday that was all shut down over a legal tug of war, if you will, a back and forth over whether a third charge should be added to this case, and that's third-degree murder. It was originally a part of the case. It was removed by the judge, and now the prosecution pushing to get it reinstated while Derek Chauvin's team is saying that it's not applicable in this case. There's been no decision on that. We haven't heard from the appellate court at this point, but the judge in the case saying that we've got to move forward, and again, beginning jury selection today. Yesterday, we saw hundreds of people outside of the courthouse carrying banners and placards, pictures of George Floyd, and demanding justice here. It's been quiet to this point so far. Security still in place here, though. You see the chain link fence that surrounds the courthouse behind me, and you've still got a lot of police and federal agents on the ground here. That's the latest right now here in Minneapolis. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
For the latest on this case throughout the day, head to our website, valleynewslive.com. Well, NDSU is investigating after someone reported 2 extremist decals promoting a hate group found on the Menard Hall doors yesterday morning. Now, in an email to students, officials say the decals were found at 8:30 in the morning. Within 15 minutes, they were taken down. NDSU policy does not allow discrimination or the placement of material on campus property. The decals mark a string of recent racially charged incidents on NDSU's campus. The Fargo and West Fargo Fire Departments are teaming up to put on a 10-week academy for recently recruited firefighters. The training consists of classroom work, drills, ride-alongs, and live burn scenarios. They say holding a joint academy helps both departments learn to function together and build strong working relationships to better serve the Fargo and West Fargo communities. As we either enter spring break season, some families might have plans to head out of town. But what does that mean when you come back? Will your children be allowed back in the classroom, or will they have to quarantine? Well, Fargo spring break goes from the 15th to 19th, and they follow guidelines from Fargo Cass Public Health and North Dakota Department of Health. Currently, there are no quarantine requirements when returning home from travel. It is recommended to get tested and monitor your health when you get back. West Fargo doesn't have a spring break, but there is no school on Friday, March 19th. Now, spring break for students in Moorhead is from March 29th to April 2nd. School officials there also refer to the Minnesota Department of Health's guidelines. They discourage out-of-state travel, and if you do, they recommend a 14-day quarantine when you come back and completed COVID-19 tests within 3 to 5 days after returning. The Red River Market is now accepting vendor applications for the 2021 summer and fall season. All applications are due Monday, April 12th. You can apply online at redriver.market. The Red River Market's 7th season will open on Saturday, July 10th at their new location, Broadway Square in downtown Fargo, and continue every Saturday from 10 to 2 until October 30th. Opening day will host over 60 vendors and performances by local musicians. Well, coming up at noon, it's a scam no one wants to fall victim to. What you need to know is still to come. And a warm day to enjoy, could even be record-breaking. Weather up next to plan your day with meteorologist Lisa Green.